Hello everybody. If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with me in time for the lunar eclipse of the 26th of May or the solar eclipse on the 10th of June, you might want to schedule soon. You can do that through the link which you'll find above. Also, if you're interested in learning more about astrology, I have an online academy, the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology. You can find out more about that at this link. So it's the most difficult times that try our soul. Duh. We know that, right? We know the most difficult times try our soul. Tell us something that we don't know. Well, though your soul may be tried, from there, you're able to plunge the depths of difficulty and from those depths, rescue the storehouse of potential. And that all sounds nice and really rosy, but it does nothing to get rid of the pain of the thorns that prick you along the way, right? So I'm not going to stand here and preach platitudes to you, and I'm not going to try to tell you that you shouldn't feel what you feel. As a matter of fact, on the road to greater awareness, the bypass is not always the best road. Sometimes you got to go straight through the journey, through the area where they're repaving things, go over some rough road, get stuck in traffic. Hey, it's just all a part of life. And to try to convince ourselves that it's not a part of life, that's really kind of avoiding life. You've recently been through quite a challenge, right? And it's placed you in a position that, let's be honest, perhaps you didn't really want to be in. And you're finding yourself in a position where you have a lot of responsibility that you have to cope with. You have things that you have to do. You have responsibilities that you have to fulfill. You have your eye on the target, and it's not just a desire or an empty spot inside of you that you're feeling like you need to fill up with more like acquisitions in life or, any number of things. As a matter of fact, you have a responsibility that you have to tend to. That responsibility involves trying to transform a difficult situation into something that's going to become a little bit smoother. And though you have your eye on the target, that horizon seems continually elusive. Let's go there for a moment, right? Do you remember that experience? At least I remember this experience. I don't know if you remember this experience or if you ever really kind of thought about this, but I would imagine that you have. I'll stop waffling now. But you looked when you were driving down the road, with your parents, or when you were walking, you would look at the horizon and you would go, I can't wait until I get there. And then you would get there and suddenly you'd see another horizon and another horizon and another horizon. Interestingly enough, just a quick detour on the road to awareness, that horizon in astrology relates to the seventh house, right? As long as you're here and as long as, you're alive and as long as you're incarnated, there's always going to be that horizon. There's always going to be that horizon, that thing that you're trying to get to, that goal you're trying to achieve, right? That will always be there, right? And I know that may sound a little bit disheartening, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's all about acceptance. Right now, you feel kind of like you're spinning your wheels, like you're not getting to the horizon. And all you can think about is getting to the horizon and how things are not really going in the way that you had planned for them to. And that's bothersome, and it really, hurts. And one part of you is going, why did I have to be in this particular set of circumstances? That's not going to do you any good. You're in this particular set of circumstances. You have things that you have to do because of being in that particular set of circumstances. Pining away about what could have been, that's not going to help you with anything. Ditto for doubting yourself, right? Doubting yourself isn't going to help. You can't also just keep going, right, well, I thought that it would be good to do this, but then that didn't work, so let's push the reset button. And continually pushing the reset button, that's going to make it continually feel like you're not getting anywhere, right? So the best thing that you can do at the present moment is to stay focused, stay devoted to the truth that dwells in here, stay devoted to the ethics, to the things that you know are right, in alignment with those things. Be productive. It may feel to you on one level like you're continually treading water, but you're actually getting closer and closer to shore with each moment. It just feels that way. Why? Because the immensity of the situation that you're having to cope with is making you feel tired. You maybe on one level are doubting that you have the potential within you to accomplish this. And a lot of what's going on with this particular lunar eclipse, and lunar eclipses always happen on full moons, and this is going to be a total lunar eclipse, is we have the moon in close proximity to Ketu. Ketu's in Jyeshtha Nakshatra with the moon in Anuradha Nakshatra. You're trying to find the strength to rise above the circumstances that you're coping with. You're trying to develop a plan, and you've got a pretty good plan, but directly across the sky, right? You've got Rahu and the Sun in Rohini Nakshatra, and you've got Mercury and Venus in Mrigashira Nakshatra. It's that Mrigashira energy that's making you feel like there's something that's intangible that you just can't quite reach. It's like the story of those grapes. I think it's Tantalus is the story of the Greek god with the grapes, and the grapes are just continually out of his reach, and he can't get to them. You could go deeply into that, and most likely you will to a certain extent, because Venus and Mercury are very Rajasic planets. They amplify that desire, and they're going to make you focus on that thing that you feel that you have to fulfill, but is just continually elusive. Now, when Ketu is connected to the moon, there's a large tendency to just take your emotions and just squash them. Just put them somewhere. Don't cope with them. Don't deal with them. And it may feel to you on a certain level like, hey, I'm not going to be able to be productive if I go too deeply into that. Well, yeah, you have to be productive, but you can't hide from, what's going on inside. And I'm going to, keep reiterating this statement to you, right? On the road to greater awareness, on the road to higher potential, the bypass is not the best road. What do I mean by that? You shouldn't just, kind of go, oh, well, I should just I don't want to tell you to not be positive, because you have to have a positive attitude, right? But you can't ignore what you're feeling. You can't ignore the difficulty that you've been through. You can't stay down in it feeling sorry for yourself either, of course, but you can't just ignore it. Sometimes I think people think that they're adopting a positive attitude to things, when in reality, or maybe they're thinking that they are detaching from their emotions, when in reality what they're doing is suppressing the emotions or avoiding the emotions. And occasionally we have to go into that vulnerability in order to find our strength. Anuradha Nakshatra teaches us a very deep lesson about that, right? It's one of the things that it's symbolized by is a lotus flower whose roots are in the mud. They're in the muck. And it's being in that muck that allows the flowering of the potential to take place. And that's an important thing to remember. So, as I was mentioning, directly opposite Ketu and the moon, of course, you've got Rahu and the sun in Rohini Nakshatra. You're trying to be productive, but you keep feeling like that productivity isn't leading to the results that you want it to lead to. And so then you suffer an identity crisis and you go, must not be the correct road for me. Right? When in reality, it's just that you keep changing lanes and, wanting to take detours here and there rather than just continually going ahead with what is right in here. And I'm going to keep pointing at that until it hurts my chest a little bit, because I really want you to focus on that. I really want you to understand that. But you're not going to be able to get in here if you're ignoring what's in there. So pay attention to it, right? Sure, it may feel to you like this is really difficult, but whilst you have to acknowledge your feelings, you can't, just keep living in the past. You have to focus on the present, and from the present, begin to put together what you're going to do for that next moment in time. Focus on that. Again, stay focused, stay devoted, stay strong, and be productive. And if you could use a little bit of help with all of the above, again, I'll mention that I do offer several different levels of astrological service. These are available through the services page of my website. You can find that page through the link that you'll see above. That's going to do it for this look at the total lunar eclipse in Anuradha Nakshatra, which takes place on the 26th of May, 2021. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.